Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex topics and give you the essentials. And today, well, we're diving into something you'll likely hear a lot more about in 2025. Autonomous AI agents. Our mission really is to cut through the hype and just get down to what these agents are, why they matter. Based on material like the article Agentes de AI Autónomos, la nueva frontera de la automatización inteligente, no jargon overload, promise.
Exactly. And it's important because this isn't just like another small step. It feels like a genuine shift in automation.
A shift. How so?
Well, we're moving past systems that just react when you tell them exactly what to do. These new agents, they're more proactive. They can figure things out.
Okay, proactive. That sounds potentially surprising.
Oh, definitely. Their capabilities are pretty impressive, and the impact across different fields could be really significant.
Right, let's get into it then. When we say autonomous AI agents, what are we actually talking about? What's the core concept?
Okay, so at their core, you're looking at software systems, right? But they're sophisticated. They combine those powerful large language models, the LLMs everyone talks about.
Right, the things that understand and generate text.
Exactly. They combine those LLMs with the ability to actually reason, to plan out steps, and then critically to execute those plans.
So definitely not just a fancy chatbot then. More than that.
Oh, much more. Think about it. A typical chatbot, you ask it a specific question, it gives a specific answer. An autonomous agent, though, you can give it a much broader goal.
Like what kind of goal?
Something like organize my work week, or maybe analyze the market for this new product. It understands the bigger picture.
Okay, get my presentation ready for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
That example you mentioned earlier, if I said that, what could it actually do?
Right, so several things kick in. First, like we said, it understands that broad instruction. Then it starts breaking it down, what needs to happen. It creates a plan, a sequence of steps.
Good planning.
And then, this is the key part, it executes those steps. And it often needs to interact with other digital tools to do that. Plus, it can adjust the plan on the fly if things change.
Interacting with other tools.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Give me an example.
Sure. Think about the tools you use daily. Your calendar, email, maybe project management software, databases, even things like e-commerce sites.
So we can connect to those.
Yes. It uses APIs, basically digital bridges, to talk to these systems. So it doesn't just plan to schedule a meeting. It can actually access your calendar and schedule it. Or, find information in a database, or even buy something if that's part of the task.
Wow. That's a big step up from just like following a fixed script.
Precisely. And another really important piece is learning. They learn from the context, from how things are going, and from any feedback you give them.
And they get better.
Yeah, exactly. They refine their approach, kind of like a really efficient human assistant who learns your preferences and how you work over time.
And the article mentioned some specific platforms driving this, right? Who's leading the charge here?
Well, you've got players like OpenAI with Agent PPT. Anthropic has its Claude models. Haiku and Sonnet are relevant here. And xAI's Grok 3 is another major one.
And what's special about those?
What stands out is that they're really geared towards handling entire workflows, not just isolated tasks. You can delegate a whole sequence of actions to them.
Okay, got it. So we have a handle on what they are, what they can do. Let's pivot to where they're making a difference. The article mentioned quite a few application areas.
It really did. You're starting to see them pop up across different industries, automating processes, helping with decision-making. Business management is a really obvious starting point.
Yeah, new tech often lands there first, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So in business, think workflow automation. An agent could say, coordinate scheduling a team meeting, checking everyone's availability, finding a slot,
Okay.
but then also automatically assign the follow-up tasks in something like Asana or Trello, and maybe even pull data from those tools later to generate a quick progress report.
Huh. So it takes over that whole coordination effort instead of a manager chasing updates.
Pretty much, yeah. And it goes beyond just admin tasks. Think about financial analysis. An agent, maybe using tech like xAI is building, could sift through huge amounts of market data, generate projections, maybe even suggest investment strategies based on predefined criteria.
That's getting into quite complex territory. The article had a specific example too, right? For a smaller business.
Yes, it did. A small retail business using an agent for inventory. So tracking stock levels automatically, maybe even suggesting price adjustments based on demand.
Smart pricing.
Exactly. And crucially, sending alerts when stock for popular items runs low, that frees up the owner to focus on, customer interaction or strategy rather than just stock taking.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a huge efficiency boost. Wait, what about personal use? The idea of intelligent personal assistants sounds like more than just setting timers on my phone.
Oh, way more. We're talking about agents that could really manage chunks of your daily life. Not just adding an appointment, but understanding your preferences, proactively finding the best time for a meeting based on everyone's schedule, booking travel.
Booking travel.
Yeah, finding flights and hotels that match your budget, your loyalty programs, optimizing the whole itinerary. Plus, managing your email inbox filtering, prioritizing, maybe even handling routine online shopping based on instructions.
So that busy professional planning a work trip, how does the agent help there specifically?
Well, instead of spending hours comparing flights, hotels, checking meeting availability, they could just tell the agent, book my trip to the conference in Chicago next month, standard preferences. The agent would then research options, propose an itinerary, maybe check calendar overlaps for proposed meetings, and once approved, book everything. It just handles the whole logistical headache.
Okay, that's like having a virtual chief of staff almost. What about fields like education? That seems like a place needing a human touch.
It does, but agents can play a powerful support role. Imagine personalized study plans. An agent could analyze a student's performance, identify weak spots, and then create a tailored plan with specific resources and exercises.
Tailored learning.
Exactly. And providing instant answers to questions. 247. Evaluating progress in real time. Giving feedback. Things that are hard for one teacher to do for a large class.
The article mentioned Khan Academy exploring this.
Right. Platforms like Khan Academy are looking at how agents can create adaptive learning experiences. The AI adjusts the difficulty and content on the fly based on how the student is doing. It can make learning much more efficient and hopefully more engaging too.
That sounds really promising. And healthcare, the applications there seem quite significant too.
Definitely. Agents can assist doctors and nurses. Think about collecting patient histories, asking the standard questions efficiently before the doctor even sees the patient.
Saving time.
Exactly, and potentially suggesting possible diagnoses based on symptoms entered, cross-referenced with medical literature, purely as a suggestion for the doctor, of course. They could also help coordinate appointments, manage follow-ups, medication reminders.
The wearable device monitoring really caught my eye. How does that work?
Yeah, that's pretty cutting edge. An agent could continuously analyze data streams from, say, a smartwatch heart rate, activity levels, sleep patterns. It looks for anomalies, maybe patterns indicating an irregular heartbeat or some other issue.
And if it finds something?
It could alert the patient and maybe even their doctor immediately. That potential for early detection, it could be life-saving in some cases. It's proactive health monitoring.
Powerful stuff. Okay, last big area mentioned was marketing and e-commerce. How are agents changing things there?
Well, they're getting really good at designing and running campaigns. They can analyze audience data to segment users very precisely, then tailor ad messaging. And crucially, they can optimize campaigns on platforms like Google Ads or Meta automatically
Optimize how?
by constantly monitoring performance. Which ads are working best? Which audience segments are responding? The agent can then shift the budget towards the high-performing ads, maybe pause the ones that aren't working, even generate new ad variations, different text, different images, all autonomously to try and improve results.
So a concrete example.
Okay, imagine an agent running a Facebook campaign for a fashion brand. It sees that ads featuring blue dresses are getting lots of clicks from women aged 25-34. It might automatically increase the budget for those specific ads and maybe even generate some new visuals featuring similar blue items targeted at that demographic. It's continuous data-driven adjustment.
Right, so underneath all this functionality, there's obviously some complex tech. The article touched on the key ingredients.
That's right. It's a combination of things. We've already mentioned large language models, things like GPT-4o, Gemini 2.0, Grok 3. They provide that natural language understanding and generation capability. That's fundamental.
Makes sense. What else?
Contextual reasoning is huge. That's the algorithms that let the agent break down a big goal, like plan my trip, into smaller steps and figure out the best order, prioritize things based on the situation.
The planning part.
Exactly. Then there's API integration. We talked about that as the technical bit, allowing agents to connect to and use other software, other tools. Without APIs, they'd be stuck inside their own box.
Got it. The bridges to the outside world.
Right. And reinforcement learning is often involved. This is how they learn from experience. They try something, get feedback maybe from the results, maybe directly from a user, and adjust their strategy to do better next time. It's trial and error, but very sophisticated.
Learning on the job, basically.
Kind of, yeah.
Hmm.
And some of the more advanced ones use multimodal processing. That just means they can handle different types of information, not just text, but images, maybe audio, numerical data, and use it all together to come up with a solution.
Okay, so it's a mix of these different AI techniques working together. Now, to make this even clearer, the article had that hypothetical example. A company using an agent for customer service. Could you walk us through that?
Sure. So the scenario starts with a company wanting to improve customer support. Step one is defining clear goals. What do they want the agent to actually do? Maybe automate answers to common questions like, where's my order?
Okay, the frequent, simple stuff.
Right. Also, maybe route the really complex or sensitive issues to a human agent efficiently, and perhaps analyze customer interactions to understand satisfaction levels or common pain points. So clear objectives first.
Makes sense. You need to know what success looks like.
Exactly. Then, step two, choose a platform. The article mentioned Grok 3 as an example, maybe because it allows for customizing workflows and, crucially, integrating with existing systems like a CRM Salesforce, for instance.
So it needs to fit into their current tech setup.
Precisely. It needs access to customer data and history to be effective. Step three is training. This is critical. You feed the agent lots of historical customer interaction, data support tickets, chat logs.
So it learns how the company talks to customers.
Yes, and learns the common problems, the right answers, the company's tone of voice, all that. Step four is deployment. You integrate the agent into the website chat, maybe messaging apps, and then immediately start
We're
monitoring
monitoring its performance.
constantly. How quickly is it responding? Are the answers accurate? Are customers satisfied? You track key metrics and use that data to tweak the agent, maybe retrain it on new types of questions. It's an ongoing process.
And the final step.
Evaluating the impact. Did response times go down? Did customer satisfaction scores go up? Did it reduce the workload on the human team, freeing them up for the complex stuff? You measure against those initial objectives.
That really lays out the practical side of it. Thanks. Now, looking ahead, the article also talked about broader strategic goals needed for these agents to really take off responsibly.
Yeah, that's important. It's not just about the tech itself. One big goal is accessible scalability, making these agents affordable and easy enough to implement so that it's not just giant corporations that can benefit. Small businesses, startups need access to.
Democratizing the tech, essentially.
Yeah.
What else?
Ethics and transparency are huge. Developing explainable AI, or XAI, so you can understand why an agent made a particular decision. That's crucial for trust, especially in fields like finance or health. And related to that, clear standards for privacy and security.
Absolutely vital with sensitive data.
Definitely. Another goal is fluid integration. Creating standards so these agents can easily plug into all the different software companies already use ERP systems, CRMs, communication tools, making it seamless.
Avoiding creating more silos.
Exactly. And user training. People need to know how to work effectively with these agents to get the most out of them. We need programs for that. Sustainability is also on the list, making the algorithms and the hardware they run on more energy efficient.
Right, these models can consume a lot of power.
They can. And finally, risk mitigation. Establishing strong cybersecurity practices and clear regulatory frameworks to ensure they're used responsibly and accountably.
So it's a whole ecosystem that needs to develop around the core technology.
Precisely. It's about building the infrastructure, the standards, and the skills to make sure this powerful technology delivers on its potential in a beneficial way.
Well, this has been genuinely insightful, a proper deep dive.
Yep.
It's crystal clear that these autonomous AI agents are more than just hype. They're a major evolution in intelligent automation.
Absolutely. That ability to plan, act, interact, and adapt. It really does position them as potentially transformative tools for productivity, problem-solving, cost-saving, you name it.
And as we've discussed, getting it right means focusing on those strategic goals: accessibility, integration, ethics, training, sustainability, security. That seems key for broad, responsible adoption.
Couldn't agree more. That thoughtful approach is essential as these systems become more deeply integrated into, well, everything.
Which leads us nicely to our final thought for you, our listeners. As this collaboration between humans and autonomous AI becomes more and more the norm, how do you think that changes our roles at work, in learning, just interacting with technology day to day? What new possibilities open up when we get this balance right, pushing innovation while ensuring these tools truly benefit everyone? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.